Welcome to Stephen King's Saturday. So, finishing up the Mangler trilogy with The Mangler Reborn. The massacre continues. The ultimate killing machine is back. So, after the unbelievably abysmal Mangler 2, I was dreading watching this because I was like, Jesus, I hope that is the bottom of the barrel. If it gets worse from here, I don't even know if I can sit through the fucking thing. Luckily, and this shows you how horrible part 2 is. This was like much better than part 2, but still not good. So that's pretty wild. But it's considerably better than 2. 2 is shockingly awful. This is just not good. But I'll give this film credit. The second film takes the franchise in some weird, bizarre direction that makes no sense. The story and the concept behind this film actually makes sense. Like, this is a continuation of the first movie on a smaller scale and a smaller budget. The idea here is that there's going to be this guy who's kind of possessed to rebuild the Mangler, and he keeps it in his house. Now, is it the Mangler from the first movie? No, that thing would not fit inside your fucking room of your house. This is a smaller version of it, and this one has knives and shit. It's like chopping. It's like a slap chop. You could probably throw this thing up on the Home Shopping Network and sell it for, the ridiculously low price of 3 installments of $10,000. I don't fucking know. But now, this film definitely remains extremely vague in reasoning, which I'm fine with. I don't really need to have anybody explain it to me. One thing I did like and appreciate about this film, and I will say, is that it's fairly unpredictable as far as who's gonna die and when they're gonna die. I definitely thought things were gonna go a certain way, and they didn't. So they definitely subverted expectations, and in a film like this, I actually think that's fairly impressive because this film doesn't try to play it super safe in that way, and I respect it for that. So good on them for at least saying, you know what, fuck it. Like, we're making a Mangler 3. Nobody watched the second one. Probably nobody's going to watch this one. I mean, how many people even knew this movie existed before I reviewed it today? Like, did you know the Mangler Reborn existed? I'm going to say there's a good chance you didn't. And if you did, then you're like me, and you know that there's 3 Sometimes They Come Back movies, right? You know that there's a Return to Salem's Lot. You know there's, these movies that almost no one knows exists. That there was a Shining miniseries with Rebecca De Mornay. Like, these are things that almost no one knows about. So, I think they were just kind of like, let's have fun with it. And we get Reggie Bannister in here from Phantasm, which is kind of cool. Now, the frustratingly awful part of this film for me is characters' decisions. Oh my God, man. I was just sitting here the entire movie like, oh. Ugh, why would they do that? What is happening here? What is this person now? So, alright, let's get into it. So, this guy is our main villain here, and he's been possessed by the Mangler. And he's assembling this, and his wife's like, you haven't worked in a week, and who's gonna pay the bills, and we're falling behind. A week? How? We don't know their backstory, but like, a week, a guy deserves a fucking vacation every once in a while, and let's say he got laid off or he quit his job. A week is not very long. That's a crazy amount of time for her to be giving him shit about. If she's like, you haven't worked in a month, then yeah, a month is pushing it. But a week? People take off weeks all the fucking time, man. I mean, I don't personally, but I definitely could. And Kayla would not give me shit for it. In fact, she'd be very excited if I did it. If I lost my job and it had only been a week, she would not be at the table being like, you fucking loser. And he kind of comes back at her like, hey, how about you go get a job and I'll sit here all day. Now, this is interesting because I think he devolves throughout, right? He's becoming more mechanical, like the Mangler, because even at the end of the movie, he says, I am the machine. And he has this horrible makeup on that like puts his teeth out here on top of his lip, but it's supposed to look like it's under, like the skin has torn away, but it's like he's like talking and it's like the teeth are up here. It's so bad. That's so bad. But he is sort of there in that scene. Like he has retorts to her. You know, he ends up killing her. And I think that probably is the last straw from him and there is no return. He's just a mindless killing machine in this. But he's becoming the Mangler. It makes sense. He is robotic. He has no emotion. And there is some of that in here with, like, his daughter shows up. And you think, like, oh, his daughter is going to be able to break his, you know, the spell. She's going to be able to get him to be like, oh my God, honey, what's happened? Kill me now. Kill me now. I don't have control over my life. Whatever. None of that. None of that. He brutally assaults his daughter and murders her without a fucking, like, thought put into it. He didn't bat an eye at killing his daughter. And brutally. He hits her in the back of the head with, like, a 2x4 with nails in it, then drags her through the house by that board that's stuck into her head and shoves her into the Slap Chop 3000. This chick is mutilated, screaming in agony. He puts her in feet first. Like, this guy is gone. There is none of him here. And I almost feel like they put the daughter in here just to trick the audience into believing this. Now, they also do the same thing with Reggie Bannister's kid in this, where they make you think there's going to be some kind of romantic entanglement between the girl, the main girl, who ends up being the last survivor, which she doesn't actually survive. Nobody does. Although he might, I guess. He's at the end. The ending is so fucking pointless and weird and like, why is this here? It would have been way cooler had they not tacked that on. It's just a super grim ending, but then he's fine and he's out and it doesn't make any sense. That's super stupid. I was hoping it was going to be someone else that had kind of a similar build and had taken him over, but no, they just show him from the back. So I guess we're led to believe that's him. I don't know. That's dumb. That was a dumb add-on. That was probably forced by the studios in case this had any success, and they're like, well, we can make a fourth. Just piss poor decision there. But the whole romantic entanglement thing is kind of hinted at. They're like talking to each other through the door, and he's gonna leave her behind, which, dude, what the fuck, man. Both of these guys are awful. You know, Reggie Bannister's character, but he even has this moment of like, I can't leave her behind, man. And then he goes from like the best lock picker to the worst. And his son easily picks the lock on the outside, but can't seem to pick any locks on the inside. His son also says like, stand back, I'm going to try to kick the door in. And he gingerly throws himself like flamboyantly against the door like, oh my God, the door must be reinforced. No, you must be a pussy. That's what's happening. She's going to die because you're a pussy. This guy is just awful. He is so out for himself and then all of a sudden finds a conscience. Bullshit. This movie reminds me of The Collector. It's very similar in that, you know, they break into this house where murders are taking place and then he's trying to get out of the house. Now, of course, The Collector's 1,000 times better and there's traps and all that stuff. And the killer's cool. The killer in this is just, I don't know. He's not intimidating to me. Like, if that was my villain to go up against, I'd be fine. I mean, give me Jason or Freddy or Michael or any of those guys. Holy shit, no way, no thanks. But this guy could beat the shit out of this guy. This guy is not really that intimidating to me. So, him coming through the house, the fact that the son doesn't even attempt to fight back, that Reggie Bannister's character really doesn't fight back, The only person that really fights back against this guy is our main girl, the last survivor, before her ultimate demise. And she even got little quippy one-liners and stuff where she's, fuck your machine. I am the machine. So, yeah, I don't know. Anyway, so we get the main girl here, we get okay, here's something that I rarely do, but this is funny. So we do get tits in this movie, and it's of the main girl. Now, whether they're hers or not, I don't know. It might be a body double. Doesn't really matter. But you get her in the shower, and they're showing like these really explicit, risque, kind of like close-up tit shots. Nothing subtle about it. Nothing artistic about it. Just pure perv gold. Fine. Okay? This is the kind of movie. It makes sense to be in here. Fine. But then, it is then immediately followed by her crying because she just lost her job and her boyfriend just walked out on her. And she's about to get kidnapped and murdered. So, kind of sandwiching like sexual imagery and stuff that's supposed to be erotic in between like her losing her job, her dude leaving her, and then her bawling about it. It's so misplaced. I don't want to see a chick's tits in a movie and then have her like crying and being, I feel bad. Like I'm sitting there like it's not a turn on. I'm not sexually aroused. I'm not interested in this. Like if you're gonna just follow it with her bawling her eyes out, what? Do you imagine watching porn where the girl like is in the middle of like doing it and then she like starts crying that she lost her job and everything? You'd be like, oh god, now I just feel like a dick. I just feel awful. I'll turn this off and go rethink my life. Yeah, don't make something sexy. It's just not okay. It's kind of like, I don't know. Hey, whatever. I was gonna go down a whole nother road there, but not a need. You get the point. Her neighbor is so oblivious to her abduction. It's kind of hilarious. She picks up the phone to dial 911, and then he picks up the phone on the other end, and she doesn't call 911. Like she presses in the numbers and she like immediately says hello. Is someone there? And she doesn't get an immediate response, so she just kind of like carries the phone around her, but then doesn't. Like she picked up the phone and already started dialing before he picked up his end. So it's not like he stopped her from doing it, because like if he picked up the phone first, he has the open line, but I don't even know how that works. I think he'd have to start dialing first and it would screw her up. So if he picked it up and immediately started dialing, I think maybe that would work. But she picked up the phone, already had pressed like 2 or 3 of the buttons. She either hit 9-1 or 911. I can't remember if she'd hit all 3 by the time he picked up. But that phone call would have went through. So why the fuck did she not call the police? I do not understand this. But this is a dumbass movie, so... But it's actually watchable. Which is really weird. Reggie Bannister's character in this smokes like 2 puffs of a cigarette and then throws it out the window and then lights another one. His son even calls him out, like you can't even commit to finishing a cigarette. So I guess this is a quirky character trait. He like puffs cigarettes for a second and then throws them away and starts another one. Like, what point would that be? Have you ever known anybody who would like take 2 drags off a cigarette, put it out, and then immediately light a brand new one and throw that one away? I know people who smoked a little bit and then put it out and saved it for later, or like the people who were kind of trying to pretend to be cool, who would take like inhaleless puffs and then like be like, and then they'd like put it out and then try to hide it or whatever. They wouldn't light up another cigarette 2 seconds later. This is a very bizarre thing to do. Because it's not like you're not committed to finishing a cigarette. It's that you're committed to finishing a cigarette, but you have to have 10 cigarettes to finish one. It seems like a very expensive habit to have. So the fact, yeah, he immediately pulls out another cigarette. What kind of shit is that? And the music in this is stock. Like, straight up, they went to sounddogs.com and just got whatever music was like first thing. Like, just background music. Not even horror music for half of this. Just random music. And they're like, yeah, just use that. I don't care. The music, especially when like Reggie and his son are talking, it's like, what is this? This is horrid. And I like how the son is actually trying to like play the moral high card and being like, I can't believe you smoke, and this is why mom left, and this and that. And then he's like, all right, anyways, let's go fucking rob some houses together. Like, what? And I'm sure there are people like this. They disconnect. They're like, oh, this is my job. And it's like, you're a piece of shit. That's your job. That's your job. Stealing from people is your job. You're a horrible human. But then he goes in, and it's just all so selfish. And I get it. They're burglars. They don't care. They don't care about other people. But they both do. And they show that they both do. Like, Reggie's like, I can't leave. And then the son, like, tries to leave. But then he comes back and he's like, all right, I can't leave. I mean, yes, it's because he couldn't leave that he stayed for sure. But once he's there and has to return, then he's, like, invested. But these guys were obnoxious as all hell. And people don't even notice blood on the walls around them. Such oblivious characters throughout all of this. And then the son is on the radio with his dad. And he's like, dude, there's blood all over the walls. There's this and that. And he's like, oh, it could just be a prank. It could just be a prank? What does that even mean? What does that even mean? Somebody puts blood all around their house in the hopes that someone will break into their house to play a prank on them? What the fuck kind of insane logic is that? I mean, I guess he could just be saying it to say anything to get his father to leave, and then he's like just throwing out random idiotic ideas, but that is the ultimate idiotic idea. A prank? A prank. Did anyone think you were coming? Why would anybody be pranking anybody when there's no one home? What the fuck kind of idea is this? When he said it could be a prank. And then when he's like, just get out of there, when he finds that there's multiple people, like one chick locked in a room, he's like, oh, just get out of there. Fuck you. If that's your initial response, like someone's locked in a room, like this woman is stuck in this house, and there's blood all over the walls, she's a victim in their initial response, especially when they're sitting outside and they can see when someone's coming and going, fuck you. Wow. Seriously? Like, I guess I was just born with, like, I don't know, a moral compass or something, but there's no way I would leave without getting that person out of there. And I could sure as fuck get that door open. But yeah, I mean, it's not to say people like this don't exist. So I'm not knocking the film for these guys being self-centered, selfish pricks. It makes me angry that people would be like this. But these are the same kinds of people that when they see a tragedy, they immediately go to film it instead of help. Those are the kind of people. And trust me, there's way too many of those people in the world. You see 1,000 videos. I mean, look at anything you see now. People immediately like, oh my God, somebody's going to freak out. Somebody's going to kill somebody. Somebody, let me get my camera. Let me get my 15 minutes fame. Oh my God, this is going to get 1 million likes. Fuck. What? That's your thought? I got to film this? Someone's beating their kid and you think, I got to film this. Like, I don't want to go intervene. Unless you're only filming it to then take it to the police and be like, I got evidence, you need to arrest this person, then maybe. That's fine. You know, if you feel like you can't do anything, like, what am I going to do? I can't step in. This guy will kill me. You know, then if that's the best you got, like, fuck it, I'll film it. I'll get their license plate. I'll take it to the cops. Cool. But you're just filming it purely like, oh, put this on YouTube. You're awful. Anyways, I'm here to lecture everybody. As always. And then, okay, so like, the whole him saying like you got to get out of there. What are you going to tell the cops? This and that. This is pure nonsense. This is pure nonsense. There's so many ways to say this. Do you really think the cops give a fuck about you? If you walked into a murder house, that there was this machine that was literally eating fucking people, and he had multiple people locked around the house and dead bodies everywhere, you really think that it would be that much of a focus on how you got in there? I mean, there might be in the sense of an accomplice, but what you would do is you would say, hey, I was walking by, I heard a girl screaming for help, so I ran up, and I heard her screaming even more, so I came in the house to see what the fuck, and I rescued her. You'd be a hero. You'd be a fucking hero. You'd be on television. You'd be on talk shows. They'd make way more money. Not that that's the way you should go with it. You shouldn't be doing it for money, but these guys just want money, and they just... But the whole, like, oh, just get out of there. Like, how are you going to explain you're in there? You're idiots. But they're burglars, so what the fuck? Of course they're idiots. Anyway. Dude, this guy gets stabbed through the ear deep enough to die, so I think that just shows he's kind of a monster at this point. There's windows everywhere on the outside of the house, and they're clearly not bricked out. But inside the house, they're all clearly bricked out. I like how the girl escapes, and she, like, the guy's like, hey, I just went and I looked everywhere. I can't get out of the house. So she immediately, like, runs to the windows. Each one of them is like, oh my God, there's bricks. It's like, yeah, don't you think that maybe he checked the windows? But I get it. Like, you would check the windows, but it was just funny. She immediately ran straight to them. It's like, I think the windows are probably inaccessible. I'm going to assume, since the guy didn't leave, the guy who didn't want to help you. But the fact that he gets killed pretty much instantly, like right after he grabs the keys from the guy who's sleeping. I don't know why he'd sleep. But he grabs him, and he goes in, and he frees her, and then he gets killed. I was not expecting that. I thought there was going to be more of a fight between her and him and them. Like, I thought they were going to team up and whatever. Nope. And I thought the daughter was going to lift this curse on him for a minute. Nope. I thought that girl was going to live. You know, our main final girl was going to live after she threw him in the machine. Nope. This film definitely makes you surprised with the deaths. For me, anyways, that's how it worked. Why, after the dad said, hey, I can't get out of here, this and that, and the son would to come in, he was like, oh, the door shut behind me, I can't get out, this and that. Why then would the son then come in and not prop the fucking door open so that he can leave? Like, are these the dumbest characters that have ever existed ever? Maybe. Probably not, but damn freaking close. And I already talked about all that. Oh my God, like, the son not fighting back. I know I kind of already touched upon this, but dude, he's bigger than the fucking dude here, the main villain. He's bigger than him. Throw a punch, something. I'm not saying you're gonna survive it. It's a horror movie. You're gonna get killed probably, but fuck, at least have him try. At least have him try. This guy is not that intimidating where he'd be like, fuck it, kill me. And yeah, I mean, she even climbs down the, like, drainage pipe for this machine, like down into the blood and the body parts and everything. That's wild. Now, what it is that he's doing here by feeding this Mangler to it, like, he's not getting riches. He's not getting, anything out of this, like in the first movie. So this one's just like, I ain't giving you shit, and I want to just butcher a bunch of people. But for what reason? Like, it's not possessing him and getting anything out of it. So maybe he just likes to kill. He just likes the thrill, and it's taking him over. And I guess he does survive the ending, supposedly, as far as the, right before the credits roll. And I don't know why she doesn't use the, when the daughter's getting killed. I don't know why our main girl here doesn't use the cover of all of that screaming and all that noise to come out of the room, and then I don't know, maybe take the fucking keys that were laying, or it's not the daughter at that point. I'm sorry, it's the dude, the son. But whatever. The keys are laying right outside the door. Right outside the door. She walks right past them, does not pick them up. After the machine has killed the guy and everything's silent again, she decides to come out. And then he, the son, before that, is so fucking loud. After sneaking into the room and stealing the keys, he's like jiggling the keys around. He's like, oh no, and they're like talking together. What? No wonder he woke up. God, the decisions are so dumb. They're so dumb. And there's no excuse for dumb decisions in movies. I'm telling you. Guys are always like, oh, you can't have a horror movie if people made good decisions. Bullshit. Total nonsense. Don't buy that crap. Total nonsense. People can make smart decisions in movies. She breaks a bottle and cuts his face up with it a little bit. Why not go for the throat? Why not, while he's down, start stabbing him in the back with it? These people are so goddamn dumb, man. They're so fucking dumb. Yeah, I mean, she climbs back up the drainage chute with all that blood on her. I don't think so. I don't think she could do it, but whatever, she does. There's no music over the credits, and in the credits we have a character referred to as the Lawnmower Man, which actually would be a fun one to review. The Lawnmower Man 1 and the Lawnmower Man 2, Job's War. How many people knew there was a Lawnmower Man 2? I don't think that I have the Lawnmower Man 2. But I can always find it. Whatever. Anyways, this one's watchable at best. I was actually kind of interested in it while I was watching. I was like, oh cool, it's connected to the first movie. It shows newspaper clippings from it. Like, it kind of gives us some closure of like it was disassembled because of all the deaths. Finally, so the cops got there and were able to take that thing down. And that this guy was just feeding people to it and all that. I think this could have been good. I do. I feel like this could have been better than the first one. Like, I didn't really like the first one all that much, so it's not much of a high bar. But regardless, I think that, like, if done right, if this had a decent budget and more gore and better character decisions, this could have been pretty rad. This could have been, like, a collector. But it does kind of fail in a lot of departments. But it at least kept me interested-ish, and at least felt like a Mangler movie. So, hey, it's a step up. It's not really fucking saying much, but it's a step up. Anyways, it's currently Wednesday right now. I'm trying to get these done much earlier because I always get so behind on them and then don't post them so late. So I'm doing it. I'm trying to get ahead of things here. But anyways, anybody seen this fucking movie? Or did you just sit here to watch me break it down so you never had to? Either way, I hope you had a good time. Anyway, I'll see you later. Adios.